You have one new emergency message. Playing message now. At time redacted, multiple rock monster entities, as named by Dr. Brains, have been detected emerging in various locations throughout Lego City. These entities display unique characteristics, varying in size and elemental affinity, such as magma, electricity, immediate safety measures. Stay indoors. Do not attempt to approach, provoke, or engage with these entities. They are unpredictable and can exhibit destructive abilities. Secure all entrances. Avoid ground-level windows. Keep a safe distance from windows, especially those that stay informed. Regularly check local news channels, radio stations, and community alerts for live updates. If authorities or specialized teams arrive in your area to manage the situation, do not provide crystals. Under no circumstances should these
It was truly a whimsical time to be alive in 2009. The LEGO website was a one-of-a-kind experience. In some ways, it felt as if they appeared to be more humanistic, as if such a behemoth of a company was more in tune with its fans. There were a lot of ways for fans of all ages to have a say on the LEGO platform, from forum discussions to image boards, dedicated splash pages for different themes, and even flash games with leaderboards. I can't help but to think that it radiated this feeling that LEGO was not just a company with a product, but a centralized community with fans and a thriving culture to back its values. Nowadays, there's a lot more tools, platforms, and distinctions in the community. You aren't just a LEGO fan now. You seem to have to identify with a certain sub-niche of LEGO, like the Star Wars theme, or if you wanted to be even more narrow, a fan of a certain creator, or maybe even a fan of a custom company that makes LEGO figures. There are tons of different crevices, some deep and others shallow, because they've been yet to be explored. This wasn't really the case in the early 2000s. Content creation, especially for LEGO, would be unheard of, as it was the Wild West for even more widely accepted pastimes to be publicized and have a stable audience. I know these are pretty broad anecdotes, but it's something worth considering before I get into the more narrow topic for today. The point is, there are a lot of major features on the LEGO website that have since been tragically discontinued. All of these features helped retain a platform to harbor LEGO fans during an era where the internet hadn't matured enough to host more narrow and niche communities. With the advent of Adobe Flash Player just a decade prior in 1999, LEGO would go on to use this tech on their website by authoring several hundred different Flash games across LEGO's portfolio of themes. Of course, in the troves of themes that LEGO has created, Power Miners was no exception to their thoughtful treatment of themes from the late 2000s. The LEGO Power Miners website was the host to several unique product animations, activities, and Flash games. Opening the site, we're greeted with an ambience of mysterious cave sounds and bellowing roars of monsters. Each product page has a different Flash animation to showcase the sets, as well as a small bit of information to describe the story behind each set. There's also activity pages with different quizzes that you can take that are personality tests for which rock monster or power miner you are. I really like the design of the rock monsters on this portion of the site. They look a lot different from the product packaging. They appear to have a more glossy and skeuomorphic look. There's even hidden images embedded into the background of the crystals on the site. From what I could find, it seems like there's a wish list, a link to some backgrounds, and even videos from the design team scattered about. I feel like the best part of the site has to be the games. These games were titled Rock Rocket, Cave Convoy, and Lava Showdown. They were all fairly simple games with different objectives, and even featured an online, connected leaderboard to the LEGO Club. I remember playing the Rock Rocket game the most out of all three games, so I want to cover it first. Rock Rocket is a simple minigame where the objective is to charge up a meter by swiping your mouse back and forth to propel a rock monster of your choice from a mineshaft cart. The goal is to see how far you can get the rock monsters to reach while collecting different colored crystals and power-ups along the way. By default, the game only has Glaciator, Fire Rocks, and Melt Rocks unlocked. However, you can unlock Sulfurix and Boulderax with the use of cheat codes. I'll get back to the cheat codes in a moment. There's a couple to go through besides the character unlocks. In the core gameplay, each rock monster reacts differently to each power-up. Glaciator appears to freeze the power bar and allow the player more time in the air. Meltrox propels himself further, way faster, while being immune to the power bar. Fireox bounces around to widen his reach of collecting the crystals. Boulderax is temporarily immune to the power bar and has a bit of a weird animation that sets him towards the middle of the screen. While Sulfurix, well, I'll show you what he does. It's unclear how and where these cheat codes were obtained. The only information I was consistently able to find is that the cheat codes were being randomly discovered and posted to the LEGO forums back in the day. However, these cheat codes can be entered at the beginning of the game and considerably change some of the mechanics, either making the game slightly harder or assisting the player in some way. Besides the character unlocks, the other cheat codes include Dynamite Mode, which adds an extra challenge to the game by including sticks of dynamite that lower your timer if you hit them. Super Hyper Crystal Mode, which adds more crystals to the game, allowing the player to score more points throughout the session. Speed Mode, and Slow Mode, which increases or decreases the rate at which the rock monster is propelled across the cave. The cheats in this game aren't all that groundbreaking, but it's interesting that they walled off Sulfurix and Boulderax behind codes. I can't help but to mention that I think having Tremorox or Geolix hurl the monsters would have been more in tune with the lore of the playsets. Cave Convoy is a vehicle management game where you have to keep track of different Power Miners vehicles as they navigate throughout the levels. There are different obstacles that each vehicle can eliminate. The Thunder Driller can remove rock walls, the Crystal Crawler removes large boulders, while the Crystal Sweeper deflects the rock monsters. Each vehicle has its own special power-up that can only be used once as well. The Crystal Crawler can eliminate any object in front of it, while the Crystal Sweeper eliminates all objects and enemies on screen, and the Thunder Driller can tunnel underneath objects to avoid them. After each round, you are given the option of purchasing dynamite or repair kits for your vehicles. Repair kits will give your vehicles more chances before they are destroyed, while the dynamite is a good way to remove obstacles off screen in a pinch. There are also holes in the ground, which aren't able to be destroyed, so you have to avoid them at all costs. The game gets considerably harder after each level, and I found it extremely difficult to master. By level 5, you are given 2 of each vehicle to manage, and almost twice the enemies. Each level after level 5 is essentially the same, but just slightly longer each time. From what I could tell, after getting to level 14, it seems like there is no actual ending to the game. The cheat codes for this game include mundane cheats like bonus repair kits and dynamite, as well as some bonus content. There are 3 individual cheat codes for playing solo runs with the Thunder Driller, Crystal Sweeper, and Crystal Crawler. There's also a mode that lets you play through the game as a motorcycle, which appears to traverse the map way faster than the other vehicles. There's also an unused bonus night mode, which changes the difficulty of the game by limiting visibility to the lights in front of the vehicles. Honestly, some of these bonus content cheats are so cool. Growing up, I never knew you could play as a motorcycle or even unlock the extra difficult night mode. Lava Showdown is a Pac-Man-like minigame where the player plays as a power miner, but in the third wave, where lava monsters are unexpectedly unearthed. The player progresses by collecting studs and taking cages to trap lava monsters. Each level requires a certain amount of lava monsters to be captured in order to progress. Once the gates are unlocked, the player can proceed through, where they are met with a lava bridge where a Ruptor is seen throwing molten boulders along the path. Each stage requires the player to pass through the lava bridge. All 5 levels are of varying speed and difficulty, as the lava monsters and brick paths move or flow faster across the level. After all 5 levels are completed, the player is met with a rather anticlimactic chart with the amount of points they earned, as well as the amount of lava monsters they caged. There's also several cheat codes in the game, just like in the previous 2 minigames. Firstly, there are the simple player sprite swaps, which include a LEGO Atlantis diver, a space police, and a pirate, a cheat where the player receives double points throughout the session as well. There's also a cheat that freezes a Ruptor, rendering him completely frozen and passive. Conversely, there's also another code that makes the lava river completely frozen, letting the player walk across it freely. However, Eruptor is still a threat to the player. The last cheat freezes the lava monsters completely, but only after picking up a cage. It's unclear if this was intentional or not, but it appears to be a bug. Out of all 3 games, I think I like this one the least, just because of how tediously difficult the lava river can be. It also doesn't help that the game has terrible collisions and hitboxes, so there's some rare cases where lava monsters can hurt you just a second before you pick up the cages. The game also just ends abruptly, without any sort of congratulations for beating the game. I always wanted to know if LEGO created these Flash games in-house or if they enlisted help from other companies. LEGO often seems to outsource a lot of their IT and website related projects to various companies. Even today, their website operations like web games, BrickLink, and oftentimes their site development has been contracted out to various organizations. From what I could find with some digging throughout the Flash game's source code, a company named Block.Dot Incorporated created all 3 of the Power Miners games, as well as a multitude of other LEGO Flash games. Most company indexes mistakenly list Block.Dot as still active. Oddly, from what I could tell, it seems like all signs are pointing to the company being defunct. As of November of 2023, their website appears to be down, while their Facebook page has ceased activity sometime in 2018. I tried to contact the phone number listed, but it seems like the number is now in use by an urgent care in Dallas, Texas. According to a Wikipedia article, there's an unconfirmed quote that Block.Dot ceased operations sometime in 2016. Nevertheless, the company seems to have endured a strange, yet unclear fate by being cast into obscurity. The LEGO Power Miners Flash games were some of my favorite memories on the LEGO website. They weren't necessarily revolutionary in contributing to the story of the theme, but they did leave an indelible mark on the childhood of many LEGO fans growing up in the late 2000s, because they served as an introduction into the theme. I can't stress this enough, but the way that LEGO advertised their themes back then was extremely different from the interconnectedness of the internet today. LEGO fans didn't have a lot of crowdsourced effort to know down to the wire when a new LEGO set or theme would come out. LEGO had to get really creative with finding different ways to get people excited about their products, to get people to care about the stories that they crafted for their themes. A lot of LEGO themes, just like Power Miners, had their own Flash games as they served as an introduction to the worlds crafted by LEGO. The legacy of these games live on, a testament to the timeless appeal of LEGO's ability to spark the imagination and create lasting memories throughout generations of fans.